Welcome. Welcome to this webinar today. We want to talk to you about your future business, a business that's founded with innovation and vision. I guess, but more importantly than talking about that, first up, we want to talk about who this is for, because really it's not for everyone. It's for people who, want more flexibility to fit your work around your family, not the other way around, who want to try and get to the ultimate work-life balance and have a life and not be so controlled by business or work. People who say sick of working during school holidays or working to someone else's calendar, because in this day and age, honestly, why should you have to? There is a smarter way. And I know there's some figures out there, the doom and gloom the media puts out. 87% of women not retiring comfortably until the age of 78. And you say, why is a guy talking to you about women not retiring comfortably? Well, I've got to tell you, with 4 daughters of our own growing up, figures like this really concerned me greatly in the past. And they are worth thinking about, because it's pretty scary in some ways, but fortunately things are changing. Because this event and what we're going to talk about, it's all about you being able to unlock your true potential. Because for many of you, you have a far greater potential of what you're currently doing with your current business or work, so forth. And the reality is today, women are only 36% of all businesses. And most of the new businesses, actually a majority of new businesses are being started by women. And that's a growth of over 30% just in the last 8 years. So it's pretty incredible. But before we get into some of that positivity, I want to take you through some things in my own situation, because really there's sort of 2 ways that people live life. And one, the first lifestyle is what I had for years. And that's sort of some illustration of me. And what I've found is, as you start going through life, obviously there's all these changes. The first one is, for our first years, we acquire skills. We go to school, we learn how to walk, we do all these things, and maybe go to university. Then we utilize those skills. We go out in the workforce, and we're learning skills, and we're moving up through management or whatever we're doing in things. And then maybe we retire around 65 or so, and we have a few short years to enjoy life, and maybe we've got some money coming in from a pension or from a superannuation or something. And then it's all downhill at the end. Now, I was midway through that when I realized there had to be a better way. And thankfully there is. Obviously, you're still going to have to acquire skills as you, in the first part of your life. And you're still going to go out there and work hard and utilize those skills. But what we want you to do is do that for a short focused period, so that you can then work smarter. Because we all work hard, it's a matter of working smarter. Then we've got that whole period of life to enjoy, and that's what I was able to turn around, and so many other people have been able to turn around. And I know in the last 10 years I've retired 3 times. I tend to get bored and go back and start getting active in business again, because of things that are happening. And I think some of the things I'm going to share in a few minutes is, well, you can see why I'd get excited and get very active again. However, before I got into this business and before I changed my whole lifestyle around, really I was feeling totally financially trapped. I was in my early 30s. I was working for a large agribusiness company, Australia's oldest company, in fact. I did okay. I was on track to go towards management and things like that, but it was miserable. There was too much month at the end of every paycheck. And you couldn't control your life. We'd want to go on a holiday. We couldn't take one when we wanted. It all had to fit around the bosses, the management, everything else. And there just was never the money to do things. It was always like you got $5 ahead and then something had happened and you'd go back. And it was just back and forth. And you just felt that there was no light at the end of the tunnel at all. But today, we've got choices. And this is a picture a little while ago of Lynn, my wife, and I, just south of Cape Town in South Africa. And we're on one of our trips over there. And it's just been fantastic to have the choices to spend time with Lynn as the kids are growing up and spend time and go out and do what we want when we want, and without having to ask someone's permission. And that was incredible. And it's allowed us to pursue our why. And really, today, my why is this. It's changed a lot. But I followed a proven system in business that helped me build so I could help other people do it. And I built this business that's created a recurring income. And this started over in Malawi with the Nourish the Children program, which I'm an ambassador of, which is a program that helps feed lots of kids around there. And it's an absolute blast being able to do that. And having a business that's enabled us to do that has just been incredible. But enough about me. I want to talk to you about some other people. And here's Kurt. Kurt, young guy, he was a traveler, really just bumming his way around the world. And he was a writer. And he came into the business and built a successful business. And I was able to grab him on the phone earlier today. And he's kind enough to share his thoughts on it and things. And hopefully this comes through well. Kurt, you there?
Well, prior to Nu Skin, I was what you call a bit of a bum. So I was hitchhiking all around the world. I did that because I wanted freedom, and I really valued the freedom that hitchhiking gave me. But it wasn't really true freedom because I was broke, chronically lonely, and I had this sense that I wasn't doing anything important. So I started looking for a business that could accommodate the freedom of just going where I want, when I want, with who I want, but having an income from that as well. And that's how I found Nu Skin. I quite literally stumbled into it, and it has provided precisely that to me. So how has Nu Skin changed my life? Well, it has provided an income, the type of income that allows me to have a quality of life and a quality of freedom that very few people ever get the chance to have.
Thanks so much, Kurt. So you start to see, different people have different reasons for doing this and going along. But you want to ask yourself, what would an additional, say, $1,000 a month mean to you right now? I'm not going to call out names and things like that, but write down for yourself and say, well, what would it mean to have an extra 1,000 or more or whatever amount a month extra coming in? What will be and what if you don't? What's the result of that? What's it mean this year? What's it going to mean next year? Because what if you could combine the best of social media, franchising, and subscription marketing and build it into your very own lifestyle business, just like Kurt did? Because you can do it the slow way of trial and error, starting something yourself. But we took many years to get it right, and now it saves our business partners years of frustration. So it's sort of really which way you would prefer. The world is changing so rapidly right now, and we look every day and we hear about AI and robotics and this and jobs going and all this other stuff. But all that change is actually creating huge opportunity. And change drives opportunities. You've only got to look at companies like TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is now the world's largest travel agency. They create huge revenue by having us, the customers, do all the marketing for them by our recommendations. They don't even have to do it. They're the world's largest travel agency with no offices. Look at Facebook. We all use Facebook, and it's the world's most popular media owner. And yet it creates no content. We create all the content to put on Facebook that makes it so popular. And that makes it work. It's an amazing business model. Look at Uber, the taxi service or the ride-sharing business. It's the largest transportation company or taxi company in the world now, and yet it owns no cars. These business models have been driven by a change, but that change is creating new opportunities. Airbnb, if you haven't heard of it, it's the world's largest accommodation chain or like hotel chain, but it's not really hotels. They put people together with accommodation, and they have no real estate other than maybe their own offices, and yet they're bigger than Hilton, Sheraton, Marriott, all combined as far as number of people that stay with them. And that's what we want to talk to you today about your future business, what you could have, something that will allow you the same sort of leverage that these guys get, but with no inventory, no employees, and without a lot of the drama, so you can have your own lifestyle. And that's really, if you want to maximize in business, what you want to do is you've got to be on top of the trends. You want to be, the trend is your friend in business, because if you go against the trend, you're just not going to make a lot of money. Anti-aging is a massive trend. It's perhaps the biggest trend out there. It's just growing literally by hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Will become $1 trillion industry shortly. Then you've got health and wellness, which is very closely related to the anti-aging side. And that health and wellness side is critical as you've got aging populations. Social media, social selling, huge, and growing day by day. Supplemental income. People are looking for a plan B. You know, they're not comfortable in their jobs about security, or they just want a gig, you know, an extra gig to make some extra money. That's a huge thing, is this whole gig economy is growing along. And then you've got the whole subscription-based business thing, which is just enormous for creating ongoing income. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we do, I want to talk about two sisters that I've had the pleasure of meeting and working with, Ashley and Christy. These sisters, they wanted to start their own business, and sick of working for other people and doing their own thing that way. So I had the privilege of working with them a bit, and I've watched them grow. And they had no idea of business, no experience, but they followed the systems we showed them, and now they've got $1 million business. And it's absolutely incredible with them what they can do. And very fortunate today, I think I've got was able to get Ashley on the line. Hello, Ashley.
Hi, Graham. Yeah, when we started with this business, it was only to make a little extra cash on the side, but it's become so much more. We're able to have more choices and more freedom in our lives now. And you know what? We're so lucky that we can use social media as a tool in our business. This means we can work from home, we can work at the beach, and we can connect with people all around the world. But more importantly, I know, like, when I have a family, I'll be able to be that stay-at-home mum. We're having so much fun building this business, and you know what? If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right.
Thanks so much. These guys are just amazing what they've been able to accomplish in such a short time. And how they've done it is taking advantage of what we call a subscription revolution. And you say, what on earth is he talking about? I don't want a subscription to a magazine. That's not the type of subscription I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is how a subscription business model is like recurring revenue magic. Imagine a business where money comes in every month, regardless if you're busy or not so busy. I'll give you some examples. All these companies, and most of them I think you'll know, they use subscription marketing or subscription model as their business model. MYOB, the accounting firm, they don't want you to buy their software anymore. They just want you to pay a monthly fee for their service. Foxtel, they only offer a monthly fee. Netflix only offers a monthly fee. Telstra, you can get your phone for free, supposedly. It's part of a package, is paying monthly. Same with Vodafone. Insurance companies, Amy and all the insurance companies, they don't want you to pay annually anymore, you may have noticed. They want you to just pay every month. So this subscription model is really like magic. And I'll give you one big example of this. Netflix, 50 million subscribers. And by the way, over 2.5 million people in Australia in the last 2.5 years have signed up to Netflix. That's incredible. They've done very little advertising, very little marketing, and yet they've got 50 million subscribers worldwide, 2.5 million in this country. And in US dollars, 5.74 billion in revenue, so somewhere over 6 billion or almost 7 billion Aussie dollars, and 260 million profit a year, about 300 million Australian profit a year. That's an incredible business. And you know how they do it? Charging people $10 a month or $8 a month or $12 a month to watch movies. It's a subscription business model because we just keep paying that small amount all the time. And what that does is create constant cash flow for that business. And you stop to think, what if you had a business that cash flow was coming to you every month? Now, many parts of the house, as you saw on the previous slide, have been taken over. The insurance, the communications, the entertainment, all those areas really are already handled by big companies. But there's some open areas in the home, and that's what we're going to talk about. Open subscription areas that aren't being assets yet. And one of those is the vitamin shelf, people taking supplementation, and putting that on a monthly basis, so it's just automatically delivered to their home every month, the convenience, the cost savings, everything else for people. And then the bathroom. No one has ever done subscription areas successfully in the bathroom until we have. And using devices like the one you see on the right, which is an astonishing piece of kit we'll talk about in a little bit, but enables us to take over the bathroom in the sense of subscription marketing, where people are paying a constant amount every month to have things come in. But to do that, you've got to have a lot of innovation. And there's 3 keys to innovation in business. Because if we want to build a big business today, we've got to have some innovation. It can't just be a me too. Oh, I'll do what everyone else is doing. Is that really the way to get ahead? No, you just become everyone else. 3 keys. Science and technology. You've got to have something that stands out as first product. Marketing, you've got to have a way of marketing, getting it out to the people. And you've got to have an income opportunity so people like you and I can actually get involved. I mean, it's all exciting to look at Netflix's success or Uber's success, but we're not going to make any money out of that. I can assure you their drivers aren't making much. This is the way we want to move forward with this. And there's one really good area that we want to target. And that's in anti-aging, because the science of anti-aging is totally reinventing the way we age right now. And Nu Skin is redefining innovation in anti-aging. It is just our scientists in our science facility in the States are developing devices and different things that work on anti-aging that really make a difference. They're all patented. They've all got clinical studies that are on everything else. But since we're on a business webinar, I wanted to show you a few numbers. This is a brief history of some of the innovation just recently. And you go back and you look at a facial spa there on the left with sales already of almost 2 billion American dollars, over 2 billion Aussie dollars. And we go right through to one of the new products we'll be talking about on the right, Y-Span, or Youth as it's called in some markets, 340 million, which is over 400 million Australian dollars in its first year. This stuff is incredible. If you start adding up all those numbers, it's big business, this innovation in anti-aging, whether it's internal anti-aging with supplementation or whether it's external to help with wrinkles and lines and everything else. And yet, 2018 is what could be the biggest innovation of all, and it's called the LumiSpa, and we're going to touch on a little bit later and give you a little bit of detail. In fact, there's 2 products we want to touch on. I'm going to give you a little bit of detail on each so you've got a bit of background. The first one is in Australia, we call it Y-Span. Around the world, we tend to call it Youth, same product. And it's an internal anti-aging supplement. And on the right is the LumiSpa, which is an external product for your skin. So we're going to talk about those. First, we'll talk about the Y-Span and how that works as a subscription model in business, but what it does as a product. Because I think it's critical, if you're looking at a business, you've got to say, what does this do as a product? Well, it works on your aging defense mechanisms. And what's that? Well, our body, in better ways or worse, depending on our immune system and a lot of other things, is holding off aging. And if our system is depleted, we'll age faster. If it's stronger, we'll age slower. So what this is working on, what Y-Span is working on, is the antioxidant defense. It's working on detoxifying at a cellular level, protecting the DNA, which is critical, and tissue renewal, metabolism. Big one is inflammatory balance. Most age-related disease as a result of chronic inflammation at a cellular level. And let's look what Y-Span does with inflammation. Now, this was a study that was done over a 2-month period, and they took people, it was done on skin inflammation, and I know it works on internal inflammation, but the principle of inflammation is exactly the same. And this was, don't forget, they didn't put this on the skin, they were taking it internally. So, before Y-Span, on the top, you can see it looked redder, depending on the dosages, and you'll see after, depending on how much stuff they put on. What they do is they take something that'll inflame the skin, put it on, and then the people take the Y-Span for a couple of months. You see the difference. I'm going to get to the next one, and that's going to be really interesting. Look at this. Before Y-Span, the average number of damaged cells per millimeter was 27.8. So 27.8. But look what happened after 2 months on Y-Span. A 2/3 reduction. Can you imagine a 2/3 reduction in inflammation with the same stimulus? Absolutely incredible result. Let's take a look at another clinical study. And I promise I'm not going to bore you to death with clinical studies, but I want to throw a couple in here because I really think they're critical, and actually I get excited about them. And this is an MRI brain study that was also done over a 2-month period. And so it's showing you on the photo series on the left, and you'll see the yellowy bits of brain activity on the left and the small areas that have the brain activity. And then on the right, after 2 months, you'll see where the brain activity is. Look how much it's increased, how the brain metabolism is working better, the connectivity, the brain structure. Absolutely incredible. And whether someone's 18 or 88, that's having an astonishing effect. It really is. This is truly an incredible product. And it's taken off around the world. I mean, it took last year, we released it. Within 12 months, it was doing about 22% of all the business in the Australia and New Zealand markets. Absolutely incredible product. But we want to move on, and we want to talk now about the second product we're going to touch on today, and that's LumiSpa. LumiSpa is an amazing device. And our devices, our ageLOC brand devices, are getting huge media coverage in the major media around the world because they're truly revolutionary. And then the next generation in anti-aging and skincare, because they're able to customize themselves to you using very much smart technology like you'd use in your phones and things. So with LumiSpa, you look at it and say, what is it? It looks like some little cleanser machine that you get anywhere. No, it's way beyond that. It's so different out there. It's really so much about the experience. And we'll take one more. I promise it's the last one. Clinical study. Now, this is a clinical study we did, and it's showing how the white lines is the increase from where they started. So 0 is the start point before they used the LumiSpa, and you'll see what the immediate responses were there on the left. Great. But then look, after 12 weeks of using every day, look what happened. And the beauty of the LumiSpa, you can use it in the shower. It takes 2 minutes. Literally, and it feels absolutely incredible. You use it in the shower, use it at the counter. It actually will save you time in the bathroom. This is not something that adds time. It actually saves you time. But look at that difference. This was not something we did on employees or anything else. This was a clinical study. And you look and you see the difference is absolutely astonishing. But I will show you a couple of photos of people that I've met that are here local. Now, this young lady, this is using the LumiSpa once a day for 14 days, and I'll let you choose what it did. I mean, absolutely incredible result there, and you've got all the things, how it shrinks the pores and everything else it does, but it's absolutely, you look at that last picture on the bottom right compared to the top ones where she started. Absolutely amazing. And then we want to look at someone who's a bit more mature. And you start, look, this is also 14 days, both those examples, 14 days, once a day. Look at this. Look at that difference. I mean, people would go pay in cosmetic surgery for stuff like this, and yet for something that's a couple $100, they're out there doing this. So this thing's got huge market potential, and it's just taking off. We actually had recently had a little preview of product, which we only let out to a certain number of people who were already involved in the business. And just in Australia, we sold nearly 5,000 in an hour. People just went nuts for this thing because of what it does. You know, it does all these neat things that they talk about, but I think the pictures actually tell a big story. The increased cell turnover is incredible. The improvements in elastin, collagen, everything else are absolutely amazing. There's a whole reason for that with the patents and how it physically works. But talk to someone about that. I'm just going to show you 2 minutes to show you and take me an hour of waffling to try and tell you. Then we want to look at the absolute highest end of anti-aging today. You've got the Age Lock Me. It's a device that's on your bathroom counter. It literally is your own personal skincare lab. It has over 2,200 combinations that it'll customly design, help you customly design for yourself. And the way it's delivered to the skin, because it's able to do it, what they call micro-layering, it gives a 300% increase in absorption over just putting creams and things on normally. And what you do is you just use an app on your phone, and that helps you develop a custom design with these little cartridges that they're holding in their hand. They fit in the machine, and every month that can be updated and customized. And as I say, there's a couple of thousand variations are here, really, of it, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. So the future's here. Yeah. It really is with anti-aging. And this is not something to tell you as a client. This is something you can be part of, that you can have market share. And there's huge demand out there for these things. And whether the products are, you know, higher end products, or whether they're very inexpensive products that might sell on social media, you know, social selling, we have things from sort of $15 on up. There's a huge range of products. This is just a small selection, but I was just focusing on a couple of sort of the hot new things that are going on. Also want to introduce you to someone else, lady named Pauline. Pauline had a small bookkeeping business, and she was teenagers growing up and everything else. She's now a brand new grandma, and she went out there and got involved in this and built herself a successful business with the lifestyle she wanted. And I was able to grab her briefly on the phone today to get her thoughts. Hello, Pauline.
So I've been a working mum for many, many years, and part of the struggle of being a working mother is when the school holidays come, or when, you know, after school care is required, or the kids are sick, or, you know, there's things going on, and having to go to work when those things happen. So it's always been a dilemma for me. So when I was looking at this business, one of the things I really wanted to be able to do was to be able to choose when I worked in the school holidays. Just so if I didn't have to go to work during that time, it made my life so much easier. That freedom and that flexibility is from having a new skin business, and I'm so grateful.
Thanks so much. It's just great to be able to work with people like this and see how they've succeeded for themselves in building their own things. But it does raise an obvious question. And the obvious question is, well, how do you do this, and how to take action, or could it work for me? You know, what do I actually do? Well, we really have a very simple 4-step plan to take people through from start to success. Firstly, they get involved. You're learning a new business. You're mentored closely. There's people there to give you a hand, to hold your hand along the path and get you up. So where you've got a team of people yourself, and by the time you've developed 4 people who are out there working away, owning their own business, you'll be also getting, aside from income and things we'll talk about in a minute, you'll be getting what we call a success trip. And we do those once to twice a year. And in fact, we go to all sorts of places. We went to Greece recently. We're just about to go to South Africa. So it's kind of like, I feel like I'm always going on these great trips. In fact, that's pretty incredible. Now when you go on and develop more than 4, you're acquiring more skills of your own. You're starting to get more independent now. And you'll be getting, obviously, developing more income and securing your business, also getting another trip. And as you improve those skills and keep building numbers of teams and helping your people succeed, then you're growing that. And then by the time you've got to, say, 6 teams plus, we feel you've pretty much mastered all the skills. And at that point, you're sort of running your own thing totally and completely, but you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And how you get started is really, it costs nothing to get started in our business, zero. However, we do have some highly discounted business packages available that can speed up your business if that's what you want, and they're high value. That's what most people get started with. They, you customize them to suit your situation and the speed you want to run at. Using that proven subscription model that we talked about earlier, where revenue will come back in every month. We have an automated delivery system for the clients, so they're never running out of product. And then every time that's automatically showing up the door, you're getting paid, even if you're on holiday or not. Total full support. We're going to hold your hand to get you through. And that's the thing. And we match your energy with our energy. You want to go hard, we'll go hard. If you want to take it easy and just, do a little bit with this, that's fine. You can do that. You set the speed. You design how you want to do this. You got no employees, no office space. You're not warehousing big amount of products. So the costs of doing business are so low compared to old-fashioned business. And you can start part-time. You choose how much. You're not risking your current income. Business. How much do people make? Well, here's some average monthly royalties that people have earned at different levels. By the time they've helped build a couple of teams, they're earning, and these are in US dollars because they're worldwide figures. That's in Australian dollars, around $20-some thousand a year. I mean, you imagine what an extra $1,700, $1,800 a month would mean in your household. On top of everything you're getting now, we're not talking instead of, on top of that, what would it mean every month? Then you go on and see people build much larger businesses who decide to get serious with it. But really what we want to do is get you over that $1,000 a month as quickly as possible, because we believe if we do that, then you'll stay around, you'll see the worth of taking some of your time and energy to do this. Here's Karen. Karen, I've worked very closely with Karen. She worked in a post office and worked for the city council in one place, and just got sick of being transferred around with her husband's career and everything else. She got into this business system, struggled with it for a little while, then it clicked with her, and her and her husband were able to build a massive business. And I think today you're probably looking at a business that's $5+ million a year turnover. And yet she's been able to build that. Her husband was able to retire. It didn't happen overnight, but it did happen for her. And that's the thing. But how does all this pay work? How does it actually work? Because what we've done recently is we have totally enhanced our whole pay plan to make it much better. And it was great before, and even those figures I was showing you from before, because this is brand new, but the enhancements are incredible. We call it velocity. We call it that for a reason, because we want to speed up our business. Our goal is the next 2 years to get to $100 million a year plus in Australia and New Zealand. Now, as we do that, we needed to be able to speed up the way people earn income. So the first way they do that is by sharing. So we refer to as share, build, and lead. The first thing is share. Retailing products, sharing the products with other people, and getting paid fast. You can actually earn money every day, and if you see the little picture of the phone on there, that's an actual shot. What comes up on your phone, it's an app that comes up on your phone, and it shows you where your business is right now. So it's real time, and then there's a little buzzer, and that's a little thing that pops out and shows you how much you've earned today. So in this case, it was $87.26 someone's earned from selling some product, sharing some product today. Now, normally that'll pay out every week, but if you need it today, just click that and it's going to be transferred immediately into your bank account. However, whether that's overnight, your bank takes to do it or whatever, but it's going to be transferred immediately. That's fantastic, because you think, wow, I've got a big bill this week. I can earn money this week. And that's a great way when you're starting a business and you've got, you're starting out, you want to see if it works. Well, you can see very, very fast if it works, and it's all totally transparent. So it's very fast. And then you move on from the share stage to the build stage. And that's where you're building a team of like-minded people like yourself who want to control their own life and have a lifestyle business, making your life much more flexible. And that's the second stage of the business, and we teach you as you go through. The third stage is where you're moving into leading. That's where you're assisting these other people to actually develop their own teams, sort of a train-the-trainer role. And that's where the future comes in, because not only is it fast and flexible, but at this point you're developing a whole future security to your business that's growing and growing. So you sit back and you say, well, we've been covering an awful lot of stuff, but picture this just for a moment. Imagine if you had a secure, recurring cash flow each and every month. What would it mean to you? In all seriousness, what would it mean to you if you had access to a constant, recurring income stream? Say it was $1,000 a month, say it was $2,000 or $3,000, say it was a lot more. What opportunities would this open up to you and your family? And what is it worth to you? What effort is it worth to you to do that? And I think, once again, take that pen and write that down for yourself. No one's looking. You're at home. You're looking over your shoulder. But think about this seriously. Even if you don't do anything with us, think about this, what it would mean to you. Because right now, there's a very, very special window of opportunity over the next couple of years. That window is this. We're currently turning over in Australia and New Zealand about $40 million plus a year. We believe with the LumiSpa and with the other things, the Y-Span and other things we're releasing, and a lot of the social selling work we're doing, we're going to take this to over $100 million over the next couple of years. As we do that, all that market share is open. And so whoever gets involved now with us has got the potential to participate in that. But if they start later, well, obviously they'll still do well and everything else, but the potential for a very large business is probably somewhat less than there is right now. So you want to stop and say, what's the next step for you? I get curious, and if we were face to face, I'd be asking you, is this a now thing or a later thing? Is this something you look at this and you say, oh, it was interesting, a little webinar, and you go on about your life and forget about it? Or is this something you say, I really need to look at this now, while everything's happening, what he's talking about is going on right now. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think you could achieve? What's the next step for you? Make it, is it a now thing? Maybe that's an 8 or a 9 or a 7. And maybe it's a later thing. It's a 2 or a 3. That's up to you. You work that out at home. So, but for those of you who it may be a now thing for, the question then is, we know it's not for everyone, and everyone's not for this business. That's the other thing. A lot of people look at it and they say, oh, it's not for me. Yes, that's true. But also we look at a lot of people and say, well, probably not going to suit you either. But if you are considering taking action on what we discussed today, then there's 2 simple steps you can take to see if we may be able to help you design your very own lifestyle business. Now, step 1, very simple. Contact the person who invited you on the webinar today. Give them a call, have a chat to them, message them. Step 2, sets time aside in the next few days to speak to them and check out the product line. Check it out. See if it's any good. Is it as good as I'm saying? Is it better? Or am I just talking nonsense? Check out the product line and maybe apply some of these ideas to your life right now, because you could be earning tomorrow, literally, from this. It only take you 30, 40 minutes, but together you and whoever invited you onto the webinar can quickly assess whether this may be a good fit for you. Because if it is, like it was for me and like it was for Christy and Ashley and Kurt and Karen and Pauline, it can really change your whole financial life. But more than that, it can change your lifestyle. So I want to thank you very, very much for joining us on the webinar today. Really appreciate your time. All I'd say is just consider carefully. If this is for you, we look forward to helping you become successful moving forward. Thanks again.